Hello everybody. So we're finally doing this thing that I said that I was going to do. I don't know how I got here. Is this my exit to the... Yes, it is. Cool, so... You know what, actually? I'm just going to do a smart hair and just return to the sanctum again, because I fucked that one all up. I don't remember even why I was there. So... Hello everybody, welcome back to Boundless. It was stated by at least 3 people in the chat during the original Revisiting Boundless video that I had made not too terribly long ago. I think it's been about... yes, that's how English works. I think it's been about a month now. But I am definitely going to be making a bit of a series on this. I have no idea how long that it is going to last, nor do I have any idea what the general goal is. Yes, I am aware that the game has completely frozen. Just give it a moment. It does that sometimes, whether I'm recording it or not. I don't know why. But, basically, in this part, I'm just going to quickly go back to... Oh, alright, cool, so we are back here. Anyway, so, obviously, as I had done in that video, this is my place of home, my house, one might say, on Beacon. And one of the main things that I do need in this game... Wow, holy fucking... Alright, cool, unplayable connection. You're being cool right now. I need a character that can actually work this forge. And there's a certain way to build a character to be able to use a Centriforge properly. And that is a thing that I want to do. I want to build a character that can be able to do that. It's going to need very specific stats and points allocations and... all that cool stuff, which also gives me an area to start off with in this video. One of the main things is that I plan to... Alright, this is unfucking forgivable. Let me see if I can set something up here. Because it's one thing that I definitely won't be doing. I won't be teleporting around all day long. That's fucking unacceptable. Oh, no, you know what it is? I know exactly what my problem is here. My apologies. I forgot that I was still fucking downloading. Yeah, that'll do it. Has nothing to do with my fucking chunk download rate, but we're still going to keep it low anyway because I have had issues with teleporting around and shit in the past while recording. But I need a special character to be able to work this damn thing that needs points in very specific areas. So, in order to do that, we're going to start from scratch on a brand new character. We're going to use this character to do it with because she has enough qubits to go ahead and make another character slot. So we're going to exchange for that right the fuck now. There we go. And this video is going to be an entire, like, a newbie's guide, more or less, so that anybody who's trying to get into the game will have a bit of an idea of what to expect when they start a new game, and how they should even begin. How, like, because there's just a lot of things that get thrown at you at the beginning, and aside from a small quest chain that tells you the basics of the game, there's not really much that gets told to you on what to do and where to go and how the progression will flow, essentially. So we're going to obviously start here by creating a character. I think I have 2 female characters right now, so we'll make this one male. Kind of like that head, but there's that one too. I like that because it's really weird and oblong, so fuck it. Fuck it. Ashen turquoise, body type. We already have the body type. Scale. We'll make him a much larger human because he works at a forge all day long. And then the body tint is going to be... I don't know, red seems to kind of give me a blacksmith vibe. Or we can just go with like a darker... Where were we before with that? Like almost an onyx kind of color would be neat, I think. I don't know how the fuck that's a silk cerulean, but I guess it is. And we're going to name him Fuck it. Forge a lot. There we go. We don't need to do anything of that with friends' characters. We are, of course, going to be USA East, and I always start on a tranquil world just because it's easy. But that's how the beginning of the game starts out right there. You make a character, and you choose if you want to be on a world with enemies that will actually attack you or will be peaceful. I would recommend peaceful, just because it's, you know, simpler. So he's telling you to grab these things right here. So therefore, you put your totem in there, and then you put this warp thing right in there, and there you go. You now have a totem that can teleport you to a random area, and that happens to be extremely awesome because I can actually teleport this character right by where my house is. This Aquatopian Embassy, I think, is the capital. Now, when you guys teleport down, I would recommend, yeah, because it shows it right there. I would recommend that when you teleport, you try to get as close to, you can't really see it too well, but that's supposed to be yellow, because the Aquatopian Embassy is the capital of Beacon. I recommend very highly that you get as close to the capital as you can when you are teleporting and you set a landing site. And there's a reason for that I will get into momentarily. So once you do that, you can now choose the landing site on here, open warp. It is 0 coins to do so. You can smack it if you want, or just wait. Either way, does not matter. And then, boom, here we go. The Aquatopian Embassy is in this direction, where you see this yellow marker, and that is all she wrote. My house is off in that general direction, somewhere over here. I'm not going to worry about it for the time being, because I know where the fucking embassy is, so we're going to stick to that. And if you hit B, you can see where land claims are and all that fun stuff. So, as you can see, this is claimed, nothing else is. So we're actually in a really good starting point where I can pretty much showcase all of the beginning things that we need to know. One of the first things it tells you to do is to break tree blocks, as many Minecraft clones start out with. So we're just going to go over here so it is further away from everything at the embassy to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. So we'll head down here and we'll continue the quest line as per usual, as you should probably be doing at the beginning. And then that's really the basics right here, is you just gather all these fucking logs, and then we will wind up turning these logs into other things and get into the basics of the crafting in the game. Now, while you are also breaking down trees, I highly recommend that you take the foliage as well. You might not want to, or may not be used to taking leaves in Minecraft clones, etc., and all that stuff, but one of the main things that you'll notice down towards the bottom with my health bar is a yellow bar beneath it, which is clearly stamina that is going down as I smack things. That stamina will continually go down until eventually you start getting hungry with your character, essentially. So you will need to keep them well sustained and feed them. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it, essentially, is by breaking apart the foliage, because it will drop starberries. Really one of the easiest ways to get food in the fucking game. And plus, honestly, just breaking apart trees is always a very useful thing to do all around, because the regular trees can also give you sap, which is used for glue, which is used for a fucking plethora of things that you will need later on in the game. So just, trees are good. They're very good. Just fucking break them apart. You can never have too many logs. But on that note, I'm getting bored smacking this goddamn tree right now, so we're going to just quit after this one log over here. I don't want to flood it. There we go. I think this should be the whole entire base of the stump. There it is. So now it's telling you to go to handcraft a recipe, which is right here. You can build totems infinitely and for nothing. So just because we can, I'm going to build a couple of totems, and it's going to automatically smart stack to that, which is how this works. We also have these, which are starberries that I was telling you about before, to be able to eat. But back over to handicraft, you can make timber straight from your hands by doing that. And what is it saying to make? Uncraftable recipe. to make a campfire. That is correct, which you need just straight chunks for. And foliage. So there we go. Now that is done. Now what the campfire will do is when you see that you're placing it down, you'll see this barrier around us right now. If you remember that boundary from earlier that we saw when I hit B, off in this direction, it is the same thing. We now see this boundary right here. That campfire will keep this area under protection for the next 2 hours. It's a nice temporary place to put down like a crafting bench when you're on other planets. I don't really use them too much now, but that's what these are used for. It's just temporary protection so that other people can't fuck with your shit and it'll claim it for you. Now that we have timber, it's telling me to craft more timber, so we gotta do that 3 more times. There we go. Handcraft a crafting table. And this is, again, just all the basics that you need to do in the game. And I'm just kind of going through this so that we can get past all of the annoying and silly bullshit. So the crafting table now needs to be placed within this protection. You cannot just place it willy-nilly wherever that you want. You cannot place a bench just anywhere on the world. It must be within the protection, which is why it's telling you to put the campfire down. Now that it is placed in here, we can also craft and store things on this crafting bench. Back in the day, you used to have significantly smaller storage, but it's not so much a problem now. Now, the cool thing about the crafting table is that you can set it to craft things and then walk away from it while you do other things. And it can give you a queue of, I think, 20 or 30 items that you can craft in a row. So that's what's really awesome about the crafting table. And that's a thing that you'll be glad is a thing later on down the line when you are waiting a long time for things to fucking make. Especially when you need higher-end tools. So it is telling us to acquire more timber, 16 to be exact, and we need sticks. We're just going to start with the sticks, because fuck it. We can do it in bulk, and we're going to do it in bulk. And the reason why you always do things in bulk, if you can, is because it actually is less materials. This should cost 5 trunks to be able to do that, but it's only going to cost 4, roughly 20%, I believe, off of the original amount. So crafting in higher volumes is pretty much always unanimously better. The only issue why you wouldn't want to do this is that it obviously takes a longer amount of time when you craft in bulk and in, I think the last one is in mass. Yeah, mass crafting. Okay, there we go. Now that I have successfully made that tree my bitch, I believe we're good enough to go into the progression that we need to do here. So, 16 timber. Where? There we go. That'll make 10 timber. I have exactly enough logs to make the timber that I need. There we go. Now we should be able to make, I believe it's a beacon it wants us to make, right? No, not at all. It wants us to make wooden tools. So these are incredibly fast to make. However, the wooden tools obviously are not going to last long, but later on down the line when you start making bigger and better tools, it's going to take quite a bit longer to do so. Quite a bit. Any timber, sticks, and any foliage. This is new to me. I don't remember. When I was going through the game originally, it didn't tell you how to farm at first on top of it, so that one is a completely new thing altogether. So now that you have completed that, you also get rewards, which is a little bit of XP to help out with your character, as well as, I think, cubits were in that as well. Not cubits, no. Collect a level reward coffer. Yeah, there we go. So now it's telling you how to use cubits to be able to buy plots. And this is important for building later on down the line because you will need quite a bit of plots to make much bigger things in the future. Chris has definitely bought a lot of land plots over time. And I think as you level up, you also gain more. I don't know if you only get them through this. You might. It's been a very long time. But I think they did change it so that you have to buy plots now. Okay, so now that we have our tools, we're obviously going to be putting them into our hotbar to use them. And one of the most important things that we do have here as well is the fact that... PD soil, okay. Is the fact that now we can kind of just break things apart much easier. We're going to be moving into the mining portion of the game in a short bit here. I just want to make sure that I have things that I need before moving on. And there we go. Now that I have properly done deforestation, we can now move on with our lives. I'm just going to pick up this crafting table and move on with it. And we'll take the campfire too, because fuck it, why the hell wouldn't we? I don't think that I actually took the campfire with me, but I can always make another one if I need it. So, I need to go and find somewhere that we can dig underground, but on our way over there... I'm going to break that apart, because I know what these things are used for. On my little adventure earlier when I was tearing apart that tree, I did take all of the plants and stuff off of the ground, because I know what these things are. Pulsating orbs, these seeds, fibrous leaves, etc. I know what they're used for, and I know that I'm always in the market for needing more of them. Now, this thing that I am standing next to right here is very important, actually. This is a fallen meteor. We'll go more into these later on down the line, but if you ever happen to see one of these things, you might as well pull it apart with a hammer, and then take the warp conduits. I think they're warp conduits, yes. Because you will need those warp conduits to be able to replicate what you were doing earlier at the beginning of the game when we first teleported down here. Ordinarily, what's inside of these fallen meteors, outside of the warp conduits, is there's like a small chest inside of them that you can break apart if other players have left them. But this one seems to be a little different. I did not see a chest on it, which means it's probably been here for quite a fucking while. And I think the closest place that we're going to wind up finding stone to be able to dig through is in this direction, so onward. Okay, so we're starting to get where other people's encampments are, so I'm actually just going to dig down right here and just prevent myself from having any possible issues right here and now. Alright, and then there we go, we are already at stone. Now, the main thing about Beacon is that the stone colors are really fucking awkwardly colored. They have like a decent dark color for, I think, the metamorphic rock, but I think it's like silver, black, and then this weird fucking lilac-colored sedimentary rock bullshit. I don't really know how to go about that, honestly. It kind of weirds me out. Alright, and then there we go. That's simple. We've already got all the sedimentary rock that we need. I'm just going to grab a little bit more than what is absolutely necessary, because hopefully I can bump into an ore vein, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, now that we have everything, I just need to make some timber, so 2 timber. Craft a beacon control with the crafting table, which I should have enough for it, and then a basic beacon fuel. Alrighty, so I can't build it because I don't have a campfire anymore, but that's fine. So we're going to build another campfire. I'm an idiot. And we're just going to build it straight underground because it's just fucking, it's so much easier that way. It really is. And there we go. Let me burrow a hole behind this. And then there we go, extend life. So this will give you 4 weeks of protection from the time that you throw the fucking beacon fuel inside of here, which is plenty of goddamn time. That basically means that you just need to have 10 foliage on you to give everything that you have within that beacon, and you can add plots onto it, which is the next part that it's going to say. You can just basically keep your shit from getting destroyed indefinitely, so long as you can not be lazy, really. This game is incredibly forgiving that way, and this is one of the main reasonings why I really like Boundless, because it's pretty fucking simple to not get your shit plowed over from other people. But this is essentially how the game works with its protection. Now, it wants us to name the beacon, so we're going to name the beacon, and we're going to call it, you know what? We're going to call it Gondor, because there, the signal fires joke. Gondor calls for aid. And there we go. Now, one of the main things that you will see when you are on this beacon is that there's this number 29 right here next to this cog. Now, what exactly does that 29 mean? Well, the 29 is essentially your beacon prestige. What is beacon prestige, you might ask? Based off of everything that is sitting inside of... I'm trying to get the thing to pop up. I can't see it, but you can't see it. Can't see it very well at all, but there is a boundary outside of this beacon. That is that cube that you were watching before when we placed the damn thing down. And what it does is everything inside of there offers a certain amount of prestige based off of the blocks that you use, and that goes higher and higher. So essentially, by default, for the most part, the bigger the city, the more prestige that you have. And this is how they're able to show you what the world capital is, which is the Aquatopian Embassy on Beacon, because it's just absolutely fucking massive. So this is how settlements and towns are shown. You have to have a certain amount of prestige for it to actually pop up when you are looking at the damn planet. Otherwise, everybody's beacon would be visible to you, and that would be fucking atrocious. It'd be like familywatchdog.org. Anyway, this is basically how everything that once upon a time when I was going through the game, it was shown to you. What am I looking for here? That's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to make the goddamn beacon plotters, which require timber and foliage. So let's just fucking turn the rest of these trunks into the damn things that I need. And we will make a beacon plot remover and a beacon plotter. It'll take us a little while for those. In the meantime, let's also make some basic torches, because I do have a flint. So I'm just going to put this here, and I'm going to put the... You're going to need to right-click because it's going to smart stack them by default. That's how you get into these smart stacks. Basically, similar items, they will automatically stack them for you. This is both a blessing and the worst fucking thing that I have ever had to deal with in this game. Makes sorting things a lot more of a pain in the ass later on down the line when you start absolutely amassing everything. So if you hold a torch, for starters, just one of the first things I'll say, if you hold a torch, it does illuminate the area around you, so you don't have to worry about constantly throwing torches down like Minecraft, so thank fuck for that. But I want to build out so that we can actually see the boundary of the fucking beacon, which is right here. Perfect. So if we take that beacon plotter tool, because we have 2 extra beacon plots, and you can actually check this on your character. Unused plots 2, total plots 4. So we're going to add on to it, clicking out here, and then it'll build it out further. And then there you go. So that is, well, that was the old tutorial right there. So there might be more to it, but that was the old tutorial back in the day. I just need to pull this beacon out of here. There we go. Boom. So now we got that thing right back, which is what I would recommend doing at the beginning, just to get that taken care of. And it's going to tell you to spend skill points. So this right here is probably one of the most important systems of the game in terms of creating your character. And this is what we're going to be getting into when it comes to making our Centriforge character right here. So stability, obviously, affected by vitality, which is HP. Stability used in the Centriforge. Says it right fucking there. We're also going to be putting power onto this character, which increases damage to creatures and blocks. They are unanimous with one another. This goes hand in hand when you start getting epics later on down the line. You'll get higher level and you'll see more things branching out on what you can do. And then there's another stat in here, I think intelligence. Yes. Your effectiveness in the Centriforge, intelligence. Yep. Which also improves your healing potency. We're going to do vitality because this is just, you know, the very basic thing right there. And power because fuck it, why the hell wouldn't we, right? And you don't have to worry too much about your first spending because until you hit level 20, you can freely spend all of your skill points on whatever and then just reset it. Infinite number of times until you hit level 20. Then it solidifies. Equip and eat food. Well, we've already done that, and we already have the food, and I've already talked to you guys about food and how it works. So, now that you have filled your character up, then you start regenerating slowly over time. And really, that's all she wrote right there. That's it. It's really fucking simple. Being able to feed your character is just as simple as being around goddamn trees. It's a really fucking simple system. And then there we go. Yeah, that is the end of the tutorial. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. You now know the very, very basics of the game. I will be back in the next part just because I want to cut it pretty short and keep these episodes very simple. I'm going to be putting a second episode up today as well with it because that's just a really fucking stupid way to, yeah, place blocks inside of your beacon. So we could have done this, but we're not going to do any of the journal shit right now. I do not care about the journal stuff. What I do care about is getting all of this shit and then deleting the goddamn beacon. Alrighty, and while I make my way back to my home, I am going to start the next episode once I get there and once everything is settled down enough at my house where I know that I can hit the goddamn record button and not be penalized for it. Because that's how it works in my house. I have a tendency to start recording and then realizing that there's some kind of pointless drama the moment that my mother walks in the goddamn door, and that's annoying sometimes. So I'm going to wait until everything is nice and serene, and then I can start recording all over again, and it will be beautiful. And I will work on the next part, where we will get into the more finite details of what you should do once you clear the tutorial. And the reason why I very highly recommend that you do the tutorial at the beginning is because if you guys can't tell, right off of the bat, I'm already level 4 out of, 4 close to 5. I know it's very easy to level up early on compared to, like, fucking level 20 or, God forbid, much higher than that if you're like Chris and you're in your fucking 40s or 50s or 60s, wherever that motherfucker is right now. But it is obviously much easier to level up early in the game than it is late in the game. But still, just do it, get those quick level ups so that you can spend those points, you will become stronger, and you will very easily be able to spend those points on HP and basic damage upgrades when it comes to exploring to further progress in the game. And again, we will go over that in the next part. So, take it easy, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you then.